Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, good evening, welcome Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox here on the show this evening. It's AK and my mate Southside. Evening, boys.
Evening, Oxshire. Evening, Southside, and everybody that's listening.
Aye, evening, Ox. Good to be on with AK tonight, and I'll give a shout out to the troops on YouTube, Stephen, Radpaw, and Philip that are in there now. Shout out to everybody else listening on all devices. So, good evening.
Fair play to AK here. Somebody called off right in there for an overtime shift Southside there.
Double time, your beauty.
Aye, I wouldn't go that far.
Fox says you can have triple time, mate. No matter, you're still getting the same wages.
How do you triple the middle of a donut?
I don't know. I know what you're. Is that your party piece?
With cream on it.
Cream in it, a cream bun.
I'm not used to wanting to laugh because I don't feel like laughing. Listen, I'll go myself in a pickle, mate, and people have different views on it. But there's a lot of stories going on in the club, yeah. First of all, how are you, Southside, before we move on to the football and that, yeah? How are you?
Aye, apart from the football, mate, I'm all right. Aye, it's good. It's the only thing that depresses you, now.
Aye, I get it, mate. AK, you all right, mate?
I'm back on the solids now after the weekend. Aye. We'll speak about it. We've only got 2 hours.
Fair play for you standing in at the last minute. Right, we'll talk about the football. I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on after the part, and people have their views on that. But we'll concentrate quickly on the football. You know, listen, we didn't start the game well on Saturday. Hearts, we're all ours like a rash in the midfield. There was a lack of shape, mate. We were making bad passes. We could see all the flaws in our team. We've got some young boys out there playing in positions that maybe aren't ready, if we're honest. And eventually we lost a goal. And we'll come to their goal in a minute. And we never created a lot in the first half. Nearly a moment of brilliance, AK for Asgard. I'm not 100% sure. I get that there was no near where he put it, but the way he addressed the ball first, if he meant it, brilliant. Only he'll know. But he was very unlucky if he didn't mean it. That was a highlight of the first half. The second half we responded all right. We were huffing and puffing. We had them, and you could see Hearts were getting further and further back. And then obviously we get a goal disallowed. I'll let you two gentlemen comment on that. And then they got the part and got a penalty kick. They weren't great in the second half. I think Hearts' best stuff was in the first half an hour, if I'm honest. We huffed and puffed and we hit the woodwork twice. The gas man playing on the left, south side, looked a lot more effective and had a good effort. He was very unlucky not to score. It would been a great goal. But we can take all that away. We'll discuss the refereeing, but we're in a bad place, mate, and I don't know how we go out of this slump. Who wants to go first? Whose hands are up? Oh, Southside's hands up there. Southside.
Aye, one was up all right. I don't know, mate. You've been watching it continuously. Saturday, I was hoping we'd come out and it'd be a sort of fast start and try and get on the ball and make passes and see if anything.
Oh, you were right, mate. You were right. But it wasn't us.
No, it wasn't. It certainly wasn't. I was listening when you were talking about Gasman. He missed an absolute howler and odd, didn't he, in the box in the first half? He just swung his leg at it. Misconnect. Never even connected with it, but it was just poor again. Goals change games, and obviously, listen, I still think it was a handball, right? And we don't get the decision, and goals change games, and they got apart and score for it. Probably because they had runners. When they knocked it forward, players kept running into the box, and that wee boy Braga played a nice wee pass into Shankland, and he finished it. But I think at that time in the stadium, most people thought when it goes to VAR it'll be disallowed. But and for some reason they decided it wasn't a handball. And that obviously then turns the crowd, the atmosphere inside the stadium, which isn't going to help the players of the team. And we're going at half time.
There's two sides to that coin, mate. Eh? The players have got to help the crowd as well. I mean, we weren't at races even up to that moment, mate, if we're honest.
No, we weren't. No, we were poor. We were really poor, you know.
Yeah. And I'll give you main thoughts on it once AK has his tuppence worth. But I agree with you. I thought it might have been chopped off myself, but we'll mention that in a minute. AK.
As you know, I was fortunate enough to be at the game on Saturday along with my boys. So we were in the Broomloan front. For me, Ox, right for the kickoff, I sensed a horrible atmosphere at Ibrox. That wasn't a support that was up for the game to get behind the team right away. That was a support that was there baying for blood for early doors, and they just needed some sort of excuse, some stray pass, something, you know, a referee decision, whatever. Just
there was a lot of stray passes, mate.
Oh, I know there was. Barron was. I thought Barron was shocking and
for the man of the match, arguably the 2 weeks before, mate.
Aye.
You could see all the flaws in Connor's game. You know, he works hard, and he had a good game against them, breaking down and making it simple. As soon as you ask him to do anything positive, mate, he really struggles. You know, and you know,
there was a poison in the atmosphere, though. But for me, when I was a wee bit surprised with the team that he picked to make no changes after the kind of transfer window closing. We brought in Cornelius, who was a natural left centre half position. I thought he would have come in for Big G. He could have started with Chermiti. He could have started with other units as well. But to play the same team, was like, right, okay, he's giving them another chance because they showed a bit of endeavour against Celtic. But to set them up the same way, after watching them for 90 minutes, where Mikey Moore was terrible against Celtic, and so was Gassimer, to set them up that same way, I thought was, what are you doing? Come on, at least recognise you've changed it, you know. So that starts, and that starts the kind of the downward spiral right away, and that's us just kicking off. Hearts sensed there was an opportunity there. Hearts sensed there was an opportunity there on Saturday for me, and they took it.
Mikey Moore didn't have a good game either. In fact, if I'm being honest, he's not done a lot in a blue jersey. You know, he's a young boy. We've seen it with young boys.
Kept losing the ball.
Yeah, listen, mate, he's playing big boys football now. It's physical. People will not just stand back and let you play. And obviously, Scottish football is Scottish football. We know what it's good at, and we know what it's not good at. But it doesn't look any further down the line. They've been ready for their first team, the young Finlay Curtis, and that's not me having a go at Mikey Moore. That's the reality of what I'm watching. If I'm being fair, Southside.
In the short time that Finlay Curtis has been on the park for Rangers, he's done more than Mikey Moore. He's managed to hit the back of the net. So I feel sorry for him, but like Mikey Moore is a talented player, and we've obviously brought him up on loan. But I'd like to think after Saturday's performance that there's no danger that he should be in a starting 11 the following week. Now, whether he sticks to the two players he's brought in, and Gasman and Ant-Man, and plays them, if no, Finlay Curtis deserves his chance. I don't think Gasman works on the right. I don't know why he done that. It didn't work against Celtic, so it didn't work for large parts of the game until he went on to the left-hand side. But maybe that was to give Mikey Moore a game in the team. Only he'll know that. But I think if we're going to go forward, if Finlay Curtis isn't playing on the left, then surely it'll need to be Gasmara that goes on to the left and stays out there. It's where,
arguably, the Gasman was my best outfield player at the start of the season with a couple of goals, you know, and electric moments, and looked as if. And then we've took that square peg and took a wee bit off it and moved it to the other side. And we've watched a game, about a game and a half, and it's not worked. And so you've accommodated you've shuffled the pack twice to try and bring somebody into the team, and it's not worked in 2 big games at Ibrox, if we're honest, and that's a black mark against the coaching staff collectively. I don't think that. I think I've been fair there, AK here.
Oh, that's what I was saying there, Rox. I couldn't understand that, how he just watched the 90 minutes against Celtic when it didn't work, and he's playing the exact same setup, because I was expecting Gassama to be on that left. Him and Magoma initially struck up a good partnership against Bruges, and it was evident there. But I don't know, but he's got you scratching your head right away, and that's on him. He's all the decisions and he's no helping himself. He's no helping himself with the way he's set up the team, the formation of the team, and the tactics that he's portraying, as well as the stuff that he's saying in between, before pressers and after pressers. So he's certainly not helped himself. So collectively, he's put all the pressure on himself, and the magnitude of the results now is just going to snowball into something bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm afraid it's inevitable for me. It's no if, it's when.
Right, we may as well wind the show up now, because we've got to kill 2 hours. 2 hours here. Let's go through it, yeah. Right, okay. I'll just stick to you, Southside, yeah. Right, so we're in the game, we recognise we're struggling with the football, but I think you've got this one of the similar complaints to me watching it, yeah. The midfield, the shape of the midfield, how we set up, the space we give away, we don't go with runners. You could argue it's a 4-3-3. You could argue it's a 4-1-2-3, whatever you like, mate. But the bottom line is, whatever it is, it's not working, mate. And we've been exposed with other teams running. You know, and I watched it on Saturday, particularly in the first half. And there was times that we've had it under previous managers as well when they don't get it right. And our midfield's we're like an H. We've got the 4 at the back. We've got the line up the midfield. They are in a straight line. There's nothing wide. Barron and Asgard and Diamondi, pretty much Asgard and Diamondi straight in front of Barron, and there's nothing right and left. And there's just got too much ground to cover. The front men they're staying forward, which is all right, but we don't get them a ball, and there's a problem with his setup, mate. That's taken away. We'll come to the players in a minute. But there's a problem with that setup, mate. You watched it. I don't know how high up you were, AK, if you'd have noticed it, mate, but the gaps in that midfield at times and where they were, it was just unbelievably poor. Southside.
You can see gaps at times in the middle of the park. I agree with what you're saying. And where I was sitting, there was times when we managed to get the player free on the right-hand side or the left, and you could see he was free at times, but we didn't move the ball quick enough to him. Had to go an extra 2 passes before it got to him, whereas 1 or 2 players could just have think that as soon as it came to centre back, he should have fired it straight to him. You can see it I can see it from where I sit, right? But at times then, but eventually when we're that slow at moving it across and he gets it, he's getting shut down. Sometimes when he gets it, the wingers aren't moving quick enough either. I've tried to watch to see how is this not working right? How come when we knock the ball in, we've got a free player? Sometimes he'll knock it out wide and then that player's not making that run after that. He's not like bursting forward to go and try and make space. It's as if I'll give him it, and if he doesn't go and take him on, he'll play it back to Tav, because Tav was more or less playing at times in as a 3 at times in the back, and the way he had it set up at times. But because he knows if he doesn't take him on, he's going to play a safe pass back, and then you're having to rebuild it again. And I just don't see enough patterns. I don't see enough players making the angles or where they're meant to be to receive the ball. Majowski made a couple of cracking runs in the game yesterday, where if the player was switched on and he'd seen it, he could just have dinked it long. He'd made a good run. Twice he ran through and twice we never played the ball. And we could have opened up Hearts because he was well onside when he made the run. It's just that we never used it. But we're not linking the play well, and it's going back. And as soon as they start looking back,
and then the other teams are getting to set up,
and they can just push on a wee bit and mark crosses, and then we're having to, and they're shutting us down in there.
I'm glad you mentioned Majowski. I mean, look, he was on scraps, AK, but that seemed to be one of our main tactics, that he runs 30 yards outside the centre forward position to try and get the ball played into him. And it's beyond me, it is, mate. It's beyond me. Yeah, you're trying to reinvent the wheel and play as if you're on the drawing board rather than on grass. If somebody goes with you and comes in at the back or gets in front of you, the whole thing falls down. That was about making decisions on the park, not playing me on blackboards. You know, you have to, if something's not working, you have to have that freedom. And I'll use that word freedom, sounds like a film there, but to decide what's working and what's not working. No, have that structure when it's not working, because it's mental, mate. It's mental.
Aye. Listen, I think Smurf mentioned that a few weeks ago when he was talking about the kind of structure and how we're playing and stuff when he was listening to Graham Souness. And I said, I heard Ted at the same talk show he's on about on Talk Sport. Souness said that, listen, whoever manager it is, whether it's Guardiola, whether it's Russell Martin, Sir Alex Ferguson, whoever it is, you're not reinventing the wheel. Here, it's simple. Football is a simple game, but we've complicated it with giving them too many instructions to be with the ball, to be without the ball. For me, Big Shooter had that ball probably most touches out of any Rangers player. He was forced to come into midfield because none of the midfielders were shown for it. They were all hiding. So he had to carry it by. And as soon as he goes into that kind of final third, he's miles out of position. He loses the ball and then they're in the tappies again. It's crazy football. He should be passing that. As I said, they should be drafting back 20 years deeper to pass into the midfield.
But the
midfield is more cuter with the ball.
is,
they can play that delicate pass that you're looking for.
The problem is, if you keep doing the same thing year and year again and you think you're reinventing the wheel, mate, people know how to stop you. So aye. So that's the problem. And you know, you have to mix it up. If you've only got one strike of your ball, people will just stop you.
Ox, who was our most inventive player on the park on Saturday for me? For me, it was Asgard. You need to be feeding him the ball a lot quicker.
Another one with no pace.
But he's clever enough to find Miovski where he runs, and he wasn't getting on the ball often enough.
But I don't know what his position is. Watching him with Snow, he'd be your classic number 10. Would that be fair, Southside?
I heard his interview, done a presser, and he said his best position is playing in his left midfield, right? Well, the number 8 there, you want to call it 8s and 6s, so he wants to play on the left. So technically, where Diamondi should have been playing all the time, the left-hand side of the mid 3, say a midfield 3, that's where he said his best position is. He said he can play wide, and he said he can play as a false 9, and he said he could play on the right, but he likes that left-hand side. So if that's where he feels comfortable playing, then maybe we should try and get him in there. Diamondi doesn't deserve to go back in the team on Saturday after that performance on Saturday. I watched him, and I'm telling you, he was going in there and hiding amongst players. I watched our centre-backs pick the ball up, and the first thing you're looking at is into your midfield, and they had Connor Barron shut down, right? So they had him marked, and you're looking for your two midfielders, Asgard and him, to go and try and look for the ball and make space or give an angle to try and receive the ball. And he stood in there and he watched what was happening. And then now and again he'd take a wee burst and go and try and chase somebody down. Listen, he won a couple of tackles, he's done his usual, spun round and ran up the park. But Diamondi, for me, does not deserve to be in that Rangers team on Saturday. No, after that performance.
Again, he did a decent game. He did a decent game the last home game against them.
Well, it shows a lot of the players that are the period of time the last time, no.
But this season, collectively, his performances have been abject, if I'm honest. You know, but he's not alone. But I get that. Asgard, when I watched him, mate, I see him as very the false 9, mate. Honestly, I think he maybe got a wee bit. He's got something, and we obviously know he can score goals. We've seen that. And we obviously know now he can strike a ball, which we've struggled with. So maybe with all this negativity, we might have stumbled on something that's maybe hopefully positive going forward. But that's the game, right? Have we got to half time yet? I haven't got to half time. Right, so it wasn't a lot of changes, and we got on top in the second half and we huffed and puffed. And obviously the Castman shot, as we mentioned, they came. the goal was chopped off. I want to come to the refereeing in the end because I want you to get your see your bit just a bit of that. But we never created a lot. We changed things and at times, and we go to Ryan, we brought him a new striker. First impressions, I'll just say this: the jury's out. Yeah, the jury's out. Big lumpy a boy, I'll say that. But I mean, obviously he's not played a lot of football, so he's going to have to get fit. But that's going to take time. But we'll see where that takes us. But and then we obviously gave away the penalty kick. Not like used to, gentlemen. I'll say that loosely, commenting that. But we huffed and puffed without it being fantastic. Yeah, but and we weren't great. And obviously the penalty just summed up a bit of a bad day at the office. CK.
Oh, it did so. It did so. Are we keeping that to the end, or do you want me?
I will come to all the decisions.
Right,
There's
no
obviously
bother.
3 big decisions.
Aye, no problem. Listen,
Well,
I was
4 if you include yesterday.
or 5, because they had 2 of them. Listen, looking at the stats, right, you know I'm a good gene for stats, right, 67% possession we had means nothing. 14 shots at goal to 12. We had 5 on target, Hearts had 5 on target, 9 corners for us, 2 corners for them. We done nothing for corners yet again. Every time the ball came in the box, I think Hearts cleared it. First ball, couldn't get the first man. A lot of the times, distribution was poor, and just the game petered out. But the game also, you know, they 3 big decisions for the officials decided it. Did they deserve to win? No, we didn't. Did we deserve to get beat? I didn't think we didn't because of the 3 big decisions.
Aye, Hearts were pretty good the first up until they got the goal. Maybe a wee bit, few minutes after that, and then the sort of first half, Peter, we came into a wee bit without doing all that. You know, and the 60-odd% possession, mate. I mean, if you take Butland and Suter out of that, mate, we'd be lucky in the first half with the 20%, mate. Right. South side, and then we'll get the phone lines opened, yeah.
Aye. Who you want to ask me the 3 big decisions?
No, I bet you thought of the second half, mate.
Second half, thought Ant-Man, he done one thing. He came in, he cut inside, had a shot on target, goalie parried that away. As we were talking about, one of the 5 shots on target. I thought we huffed and puffed, and we're just not creating enough. And to have 5 shots on target, it's probably better than what it's been in the last few weeks, in the last few games, to be honest, because it's been poor. It's chance creation. I just don't think the midfield's right, Oxen, I think, until we get that right. Hearts were all right. I don't think they were brilliant, but it's a few times they bullied us off the ball as well. But I don't think they were a great team, and I think they were coming more with hope and expectation that we were struggling. And if you get that first goal, you know everything's going to turn in the stadium into their favour. And obviously the 3 decisions in the game decide it. As you're going to come to, but they changed the game pattern, and we actually gave the ball away in midfield for the boy just to sort of kick it up to Shankland just in the halfway line when he controls it and then passes it forward. So we gave the ball away when we had the ball, and before we know it, we're a goal done. Just because some of our passing at times, Oxen at midfield, simple passes. It's terrible that they can't find their man and they're not zipped into them.
Connor Barron's passing at the weekend, and I can't remember if it was him that gave the ball away, but that particular incident was they broke, but his passing, particularly in the first half, was awful. It was awful. Might have been Tarbuck played it in. You might be right there, AK. I can't remember. Then they broke away, but we didn't go with runners. We didn't. But there is a moment in there, AK. Right, on you go. You've been dying. AK, get it off your chest.
From my viewpoint in the game, I could see it clearly. Shankland.
Now the rain has gone.
Aye, very good, yes, very good. Could see it clearly that Shankland handballed it to control it with his arm. Tavernier, I'm sure it was him that gave away the ball to feed it on. The guy fed it on to Shankland, he handballed it. Diamondi and Souters both got their horn up, expecting that they didn't play at the whistle. And to be fair, they worked it out well there, and it was an excellent finish with Shankland. It really was. But Shankland, I don't know if you've seen the pressers or that after it.
He's
Both
admitted
that
it.
stand on Hearts TV, he admits it. He didn't celebrate a goal because he expected VAR to chop it off and do their job, and they didn't. Surprise, surprise.
But even after that, mate, I mean, obviously, Suter, he doesn't do his job, and obviously, if you watch it, we don't go with runners, and then the jigger with the shot with Shankland, I don't know what he was trying to do, Southside did.
Diamandi, for me, watch Shankland, he tracked him, and then he just tried to pass him on to one of your centre-backs. That's what he did. All he had to do was just get right in with him in the box, and he might have been, Jigger might not have been involved. He gave up, he chucked it by the time he got to the edge of the 18-yard box. So he had Diamandi. Shocking. You know, track him all that way and then just go, here, you look after him now, and he just coasts into the box and he plays a nice wee pass and Shankland finishes it. Oh, it's poor for Diamandi. Jigger's trying to block it, I suppose. But aye, it's a poor goal. Hearts will say it's a good goal from their point of view, but it's a poor goal for us, especially when we gave the ball away and Tav decides just to try to jog back and all after getting the ball away. So aye, that's what cost the first goal, mate. And I thought it should have been, you heard half the stadium, 3/4 of the stadium probably roared at that point. There might have been one or two places, if you're in the certain part of the ground, you might not have actually seen it, but you heard it go up for the crowd. I could see where I was sitting. I thought straight away he's won the ball, and it'll probably get disallowed. So, but I think Greg Aitken was on VAR for him or something, and he's decided that there was no handball.
Right. If he went back that far, mate, I mean, no like a game at Ibrox last season when they were back about 6 months. So then, obviously, the second big moment is when the goal's chopped off. The referees gave the foul, so I don't know if he didn't hear the whistle. And then it goes to VAR, and you're thinking, well, when you seen the replay, and I know you two guys were in the stadium, you think, this is a goal. And lo and behold, it wasn't. Maybe they rang in for you, AK. Unless you just on.
Unfortunately, I didn't have binoculars to see it for then, so I'm like the rest of everybody. It's just, well, the referee must have got it right then. He's in the foul. It wasn't until I seen the highlights at night. I'm like, right, there's a jostle in the box there. Asgard's feeling for the keeper. The keeper pushes Asgard and then seems to separate as Suter jumps through them. Keeper wasn't touched. Should have been a goal. Again, disallowed. On-field decision stands. VAR no interested.
Aye. Mm-hmm. If it had been the other way about, what do you think would have happened?
Goal for Hearts.
No, but if they gave the goal...
All right, other way about.
Sorry, mate, sorry.
Aye, I know what you mean. Aye, it would have been, aye.
And then, obviously, I'll come to you with the third decision. Good view at Southside. Thoughts?
Initial thought was a penalty. Shaft one, but I thought he probably just nicked him. And I looked for where we sit, as you know, right? And I looked across and I seen where the referee was. And if I'm honest, I had to, obviously I've seen it back. I still think it was a penalty. I'll be honest, I think he just clipped him. But the ref, for where he was, if Diamandi, if you think Diamandi didn't touch him, right, then certainly Stephen McLean certainly couldn't see that from where he was standing. There was no chance he could see that, but he gave it, and then obviously VAR confirmed it for him. But where he was, he wouldn't. I mean, if Diamandi, people think he didn't make the contact, but just clip him on the sole of his foot or whatever you think he clipped, if you think he nicked him. I know I spoke to Albert, and Albert says, no, for him it wasn't a penalty. But at the time, I thought it was. And I've seen it back.
You've only got an initial reaction. I get that.
Aye.
All right, maybe I get these phone lines open, Jess.
Yep.
I get a troops in.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right. Look, we've got problems, and I'm sure we'll discuss the manager and the coaching staff and the whole club at the moment. But the players, the passing the ball, the movement, we don't come out of the box. We were all over the place at the start of the game, and I mean all over the place. It looked like the first game in pre-season. It looked like Bruges against Hearts in the first. We don't seem to be any better. So either the messages get lost in translation, the players aren't doing it. The players can't pass the ball. They can't keep the ball. We don't look as fit as I thought we would. There's a lot wrong. South side.
Aye, we're not doing anything that he said we were going to do. We were going to work harder, run faster and all that. Fitness level, I think, there's a few players in the team and in the now that our fitness is probably struggling to come back for injury and stuff and stop-start and be in and out the team. So probably fitness level-wise, it will be a bit short. Conor Barron, because he's hardly had any game time and flung into 2 games in a bounce there. Fitness levels for a lot of the players are probably not right at the moment. But it's down to him sort of swapping the team about, and we've not had a settled team. I think we have to find a settled midfield. And I think that's the problem, because that's a function of the heartbeat of your team. So we need to get that right, that blend right, whoever he's going to pick in the next game. And obviously the confidence is right down with a lot of them. They're not enjoying their football. Let's be honest, every game I've been at since we come back, they've been booed off just virtually every single game, especially in the league. So that'll be new to a lot of the players, which they'll probably think, what's going on here? So they need to learn quickly, as they've probably been finding out. It's not good enough, and it's not going to be accepted.
Three home league games, Ibrox, mate. We scored 1 goal for open play. 1 goal, and that was a penalty against Dundee.
I think that's somebody just come in.
Yeah, we've been joined by Callum. Evening, Callum.
Hello, guys.
How we doing, mate? What's on your mind?
I think we should change the team at Rangers, and I think Russell Martin should go before the Hibs game. I know it's not a league game, but I know we need to win in the Europa League this week, I think. Wednesday night, someone told me that I spoke to in Inverness.
We're not playing this week. We play a week. We play a week on Thursday. In the Europa League, yeah.
Is that at home or away?
Outside, I've not got it in front of me.
It's a home game. It's the 25th of September. Genk at Ibrox on the 25th.
Yeah. But is it a league game? Is it a league? Is it a cup game this weekend against Hibs?
Yes, against Hibs in the cup. Yeah, in the League Cup.
Is that the
it's a
League
big
Cup?
game. Yes. And maybe you just get your wires crossed there, Cal. Look, mate, I'm not going to defend the manager. I'll let the lads answer, but what I will say is he will not be alone in their thoughts. He won't be alone wolf thinking that, AK, will he?
No, but
no, I certainly won't. Anyway, welcome to the show, Carl. Thanks for phoning in.
Yeah.
Listen, I think the minority is definitely with Russell Martin. It's hard to defend the indefensible, to be honest with you. I know Albert and I put up a fight for him to give him a chance on Friday there, but something has to change. And the atmosphere at Ibrox on Saturday there was so toxic and so poisonous. Then the only way you're going to change that is with taking the manager out the firing line. I think to give any sort of chance, because a lot of the support made up their mind before they even kicked the ball this year that we were doomed, and it seems to be getting proved right. I hate saying that because obviously I'm one guy that likes to get behind the manager and give him every sort of chance, but you need results. And I said about 3 weeks ago, I think, Ox, in the run-up before we played St Mirren, we needed a run of wins. And we didn't get one at St Mirren. We didn't beat Celtic. We didn't beat Hearts. We're now 10th in the league, and we're 9 points behind. But if the officials' decisions over the weekend went for us instead of against us, we could actually only be 3 points in. So that's how big all the official decisions was. But as it is now, if we don't change the manager, it's just going to get worse because the Rangers support have had enough of him already.
Yeah, because that's what Chris Boy has said on a YouTube video, that Rangers have had enough of Russell Martin, but some of the Rangers fans want Russell Martin out, but
I don't think it's
I know it's not really my decision.
No, I don't think it's some.
It's up to the board.
The majority, but listen, you're right. It is up to the board. Maybe pay the piper, call the tune. Doesn't make them always right.
No.
You know,
but they're not always right.
Then you come with your take on it, mate.
I think the inevitable's going to come, Callum. He's probably going to get the sack. You know.
Yeah.
So results will dictate it. Don't get me wrong. He needs to go on a winning run, and it needs to be a sustainable winning run, to be honest, to start to appease the support. If you look at it and you think...
But they've given Russell Martin this weekend to win, but if we don't beat Hibs this weekend, he'll be gone.
Well, I don't know. I'm not privy to that. There'll be plenty of rumours, Callum, do you know what I mean? There'll be plenty of rumours, but at the end of the day, he's there now, whether they're working in the background to seek another candidate, because at the end of the day, we'll have to have somebody to come in, and they'll need to go looking to find it, the person, if that's going to be further down the road. Then they'll need to be working on it, and he probably will go sooner than possibly people think, but he needs to get a run of winning games going, and at the moment, I don't see how that's possible. I just don't see where it's coming from. We've no fluency in our play. The team's going to have to be changed again on Saturday. 3 or 4 players, I would think, need to come in and start. And then you need to hope that they're going to start passing the ball, creating chances, and look at scoring goals. And at the moment, we're struggling, and the team's struggling, and they need to get after a good start, or else
they need to defend.
And Hibs will come like Hearts did and think we're a winded animal. We can come here, we'll create chances, and we can score goals, because as much as Hibs are maybe leaking goals, they're scoring goals, same as Hearts were. So they'll come and want to put us out the cup. And it's down to Russell Martin to somehow get confidence into this team and get us playing to win a game on Saturday against Hibs in the cup, mate.
Is it a 3 o'clock kickoff?
No, it's a 5:45 kickoff, mate.
What time is it?
Yeah, 5:45. It's hard for AK. That's past his bedtime, isn't it, AK?
Not quite, but nearly.
Probably is past his bedtime. At 5:45.
That's enough for that, you. That's enough.
He's allowed to stay for the first half for the late kick-offs, isn't he, AK?
I will.
Maybe should send him to bed early. Maybe should send him to bed at 5:45.
Cheers, Callum. Listen, good call, and welcome to Rangers Radio, mate. Don't be a stranger. We'll speak to you soon, mate. All right.
Okay. Cheers, mate. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, I think we've also now been joined by Jim. Evening, Jim.
Yeah.
Evening, lads. Well, I'm obviously, you know, I'm backing him. As when I was on the last time, I backed him, and I've got to keep backing him.
Right. Okay. Listen, Jim. I understand that, and it's commendable. You put up a great argument the last time, and you know something. There's Albert and yourself have made these points. Albert a lot on the show. AK, I think you're sort of similar. And I understand that. I think you are completely right in your argument. You need continuity and structure to keep going and improve. But sometimes in life, you need to admit you've made a mistake.
But see, to me, he's been very, very unlucky with a lot of our decisions on the games. That's just my opinion right now. But another thing is, on Saturday as well, see when the support started singing about Nico Raskin, in my opinion, I watched the Bruges game along with you boys, and Nico Raskin's chasing one of their players up the park. He passes it back to their goalkeeper. Raskin runs towards the goalkeeper, smiling, and he winks to their goalkeeper, and we're getting beat 5-0. Is that what you want for a Rangers player?
you taking sides in the Raskin Martin debate. It's a big call, mate. I mean, look, Nico Raskin will not come out of this perfect, and it's two different subjects, mate. I don't think the two are connected. It's whether he's a good fit for the group, not for one individual. Southside.
No, it's not just that, Ox. That's what I'm saying is, I don't want any Rangers player smiling and winking to opposition when we're getting beat 5-0.
Well, I get that, mate. I get that. I mean, but...
And that man done that, yet the fans are singing for him. It wouldn't be me singing for him. I wouldn't want to wear a Rangers jersey again. You know, would you get John Brown or any of the boys doing that? Ali McCoy's, Durant, Ian Ferguson's.
I'm sure McCoy's laughed with some of them during the match, mate. At their place, mate. Yeah. But if you're getting the results, you get away with murder.
Aye, but we were getting beat 5-0 at the time.
Aye, I know. Nearly us were smiling.
McCoy's wouldn't be laughing if we were getting beat. No chance. Or Durant or Ian Ferguson. No way. I wouldn't. I've never ever seen that in my life. I've never seen it in my life. You know, I've heard Ali talking about the 4 each game with the Celtic, him and Big Roy Aitken, back and forward to each other, having a laugh, you know. But no getting beat 5-0. Anyway, I want to back Russell. He's been very unfortunate. A Celtic game, VAR beat him. They're saying no shot in target. VAR beat us. If for no VAR, the linesman didn't put his flag up. It's a goal. We won 1-0.
But he was offside, mate.
Aye, very, very slightly. But if VAR wasn't there, he wouldn't have been offside.
I know. The refereeing linesman gave a goal. I get that, mate. But he was offside.
Oh, I know. It's just slightly shoulder. You know, that's. But to me, he's been very unfortunate with a lot of decisions. You know, the decisions Saturday were embarrassing for me. By the way, we didn't turn up in the first half. No way did we turn up. I could see the nervousness, and then the crowd started, and I don't know if that made them worse. But I thought when we came out in the second half, when we got that goal, well, it should have been a goal for me. I think we would have hammered them, we would have pummeled them, we would have beat them. Because they couldn't get out of their own half. And then we got a goal.
We weren't tapped, then we were playing arguably some of our best domestic football of the season without making a lot of chances. But
no,
listen, we've also been lucky in games, mate. We weren't great. We've not been great domestically all season.
But I was watching Sky the other day there as well. It's nothing to do with the Rangers, but they were interviewing one of the managers. I think it was a boy Frank. It's now the Spurs manager. He lost his first 10 games. He never won any of his first 10 games. It took him 3 years to get him to the Premier League, and he turned him into a team. Now he's got the Spurs job. We weren't rid of this guy after 5 games. And it's chop and change of players, bringing players in. I think the big centre-half boy will be a player. He looked quite tidy when he came on. I said, good header, unlucky over the bar. I like the look of the big guy.
He actually scored a goal, mate.
Cornelius.
That was him who put the ball in the net.
Oh, was it? I thought it was Asgard. I thought it was him.
I think it was Cornelius who actually prodded him. Hey, Key, right. You come in and Jim. I think you'll get some sympathy for Jim. By the way, we said it before. We'll say it again, Jim. Well, you might be in the minority, but fair play for having the cojones. Hey, Key.
Oh, definitely, Jim. And listen, I can see exactly where you're coming from, pal. Myself, all bear Southside, but we've all said it for years. It's not just that under Martin. We were saying the same under Clement. We were saying the same. Well, maybe no under Peel right enough, but certainly under Gio. But once the support turned, mate, honestly, see if I wasn't there to sense that. I don't know if you were there, but you would need to have felt the atmosphere in the ground, and see when that is as toxic and poisonous as what it is, it only ends one way. And the players look petrified out on that part to give the ball away. I think that's where Southside saying that Diamondi's hiding, Barron's wanting the ball. Asgard, I thought he was He was our kind of best player. Gassama, he was hiding. Mikey Moore kept giving the ball away. Ant-Man. They're all young guys, a lot of them. Magoma as well. And see when the crowd aren't the way, there's no way back. And he's no helping himself, mate. See some of the stuff that he's coming out with. As well as the way he's setting up. I mean, see, even on the comparison between, it was the same team that he picked on Saturday as we did against Celtic, and we didn't play the same way. We resorted back to the tippy-tappy stuff at the back, Hearts pressed up on us, won the ball, we were on the eggshells again. We weren't doing that against Celtic. We were clearing the ball and winning it in the middle of the park. I don't know if he's noticed that, but I don't know where to go here because they've gave him money. You know, that it saw his, we spoke about it last week, Ox, we've got 18 players going out and 14 coming in. So if we do decide to bite the bullet and call him early, they're another manager that's having to work with somebody else's players. Do they have a budget when it comes to January? Is it going to be like, come on?
It's a perfect storm against us, mate. None of it's good, whatever way you flip, mate. You stick or twist, mate. None of it's good.
Definitely, but I'll finish saying, see if we do sack Russell Martin, I think Kevin Thirlwell is just as guilty, and so is Patrick Stewart, and then we start over again.
Southside.
Aye, no, it's like anything, Jim. It's Jim, innit? Is it Jim?
Aye.
Aye, Jim, it's like anything. My head was always saying at times with managers, look, we can't sack them, right? We can't keep them through this cycle. It's happening all the time. We're getting the same result every time. Bring a new manager in, sack them. Bring a new manager in, sack him. You get so many points behind or whatever, and the thing is, sack him. And we're repeating this same cycle. I think as a club, I think when he goes, Jim, I think it's a matter of when he goes. I went to the game on Saturday, out to 4 people I was standing having a conversation with. They were all saying the same thing. Don't fancy the day against Hearts, right? That's their feelings at the time. Whereas I went with a wee bit more upbeat, thinking, right, maybe got a few new players in the team. Something has to change. We need to start fast. We need to get something. We need to see something this week. And to be honest, Jim, I've never seen it. And I've seen less heart and desire that I seen against that mob for across the city 2 weeks ago. Out my players. And we're not creating anything, really, Jim. I know we had a few shots where Ant-Man came in, had a shot, Gasman hit the post, and Tel Asgard was unlucky. I think Diamandi might have had a shot in the first half. The goalie went down low and saved it round the post. But generally, we had a striker up there, and we never fed him. We never gave him a chance to even get.
He's not a chance in 2 games.
No. And as much as that's happening, but no, Jim, it's hard for me to put a defence up for him because I've been at all the games, mate, and I've not seen much improvement at all. As much as I want to say, well, we're doing this or we're playing wee patterns or they two are linking up well together. They're all playing like individuals, and I don't think he's got the right midfield. Now, if you're asking me now, I would say Raskin needs to come in and play in the 6. I would probably play Asgard again, and I would either play Bijrami or Lyle Cameron in that midfield now. They 3 would need to go in and see Canadian out of them because
Lyle Cameron, mate.
Well, if Lyle Cameron's injured, then I would try Bijrami, Asgard and Raskin, because everybody else has had a chance. Diamandi for me was rotten again on Saturday. I was good against him the 2 weeks before it. It was into Everton there. Could probably say it was his best game this year by a country mile. But back again on Saturday, back to the same. Nothing. So we need to get the midfield blend right. So that's what I would do this weekend. I would play the A3 in there. But because we've tried everybody else and it's not working. But at the end of the day, Jim, people are going, and as AK alluded to there, people are going and they're just thinking the worst before they get there. And you get there and you're watching a team that are slow, making the same mistakes, getting the ball away, no pressing hard enough, no running harder than the opposition. So you're like, so what do I think is going to change between now and next Saturday against Hibs? We'll probably change about 3 or 4 players, but I expect the same performance because they're not showing us it. They've not showed us anything any other week to say it's going to be different, Jim. And that's a sad indictment here.
I think the young boy Moore's not good enough. He's only a young kid.
I agree, Jim. I agree.
He's no suited to Scottish football. That boy shouldn't play. See, we're 1 3, 4, nothing. Bring the boy on for the last 15 minutes and get him introduced to Scottish football, get him toughened up a bit. He's too lightweight. For me, I say that's the player I thought we were getting when Rothwell come on and started playing with a bit of fight, a bit of dig, a bit of desire.
Then he gets injured, mate.
I know. That's your luck, by the way. I couldn't believe that. I says that man was making a difference. He was showing them, right, come on, let's go. That's just what we want. I think a player we're missing for me is Sterling. I would play him in the number 6. That's just my opinion. I would play him in the number 6.
Mate, he might be out after the new year, mate.
Well, he's back training, I heard, so...
Right, well, he's still got the badge in his head, mate. Obviously, middle of September might be back a bit early, mate, but I still think 6 weeks minimum before he's back playing for the first team, mate, minimum.
But I think we need to keep him. We've got to back him. And by the way, another thing I was going to say to you lads today, we're all blue noses, we all love the Rangers. Is it telling us something? When we won the title, there were nobody in, there were no fans in. Because AK said there, he felt it at the start of the game as well. I watched it on Rangers TV, lads, I wasn't there. But I heard it, and I'm saying, come on, lads. The players were nervous. They didn't want the ball. They just wanted to get out as quick away as they could. In the first half, you know. Then we get the decision with the handball. It's blatant handball. The boy said it himself, although he's a blue nose. You know what I mean, Shankland? But he's come out and said it. It's blatant. And then the penalty for me is never a penalty.
AK's making a point, mate. But I don't know Russell Martin. I don't dislike him the way some people do, but it just didn't look a good fit. And obviously, economics will come into play here. And if we don't, it'll be a classic for me. Is I don't know if we can afford to get rid of him as such unless there's a replacement lined up. I don't know if we can afford to get people already, and that's the sad indictment, mate, because everything will be fine. The revenue getting into the club. Just give us a minute, Jim. Just give us a minute, Jim.
Sorry.
Yeah, but the revenue getting into the club, there wouldn't be many strips sold after the game, EK. You know, and all these things affect the business, you know, what the thing that we want to thrive and do well. And results are important. And it's when you make this decision, because if it carries on last, you've got to make that decision because we can't. For a start, the football's not good enough. Never mind the results. And it's really difficult to try and you know, I've got real sympathy for Jim. I respect all Bear's argument that he puts forward that you need continuity. I get that, but I also recognise sometimes in life you make a mistake and it's just not a good fit. And anything you do, and you have to shake hands and move on. And that's what it looks like to me. I'm not wanting to pile into the Rangers manager, but it just doesn't look, at the moment, it doesn't look a good fit. And the economics might be the thing that changes the Americans, because you know what they're like, AK.
Aye. Well, they go with numbers. And the numbers, the economics that we've had for Gerrard left the club, we must have squandered tens and tens, if not hundreds of millions in the last 5 years, particularly on recruitment, on a high wage bill, and what's our success rate, because constantly changing managers working with the previous manager's players, so he's got to kind of do a rebuild. He's not getting to do a total rebuild. As I say, 14 players in, 18 players out, and now if we do get Russell Martin ready, then that next manager's then go to work with these players again. It's a decade of doom that we've had. But my question for the panel and anybody else that's come in and gives your opinions, will the lack of tickets sold for Hibs and Genk force the hand of the board? Because we've had 2 cup games already where we only 33,000 attending for the League Cup game at Ibrox, and we'd only 43,000 attending for a playoff to the Champions League. Or will it actually help the players? With Ibrox being half empty and nobody stops it, you might find that the players will play better. I don't know, but economically, it's a massive hit.
Aye, of course, mate, of course. And people look forward to the European nights, and I get it. I mean, I thought it was a wee bit pricey, no dramatically pricey, but maybe a 5 out of 10 or too much, mate, and then that'll affect people. And we discussed that Southside, didn't we, off air?
Aye. Can I, Jim, see, because you're saying hold on to him, are you thinking because of what he did with Southampton in the Championship, take away what he done in the Premier League, right? Because there's loads of managers come up for that Championship, and only Eddie Howe and Sean Dyche at Burnley, I think, and Bournemouth, and maybe the boy at Brighton, and maybe done it, but there's no many of them that can actually bring a team up and stay up. Probably Frank did it eventually, as you were talking about earlier with Brentford. But a lot of them go back down and a lot of them get relegated, as we see on a regular basis.
I think the last six, mate, done it, mate. The last 6.
Aye. So you gauging it, Jim, that he took a while to get going at Southampton and then he man his sort of style of football. I'll tell you, see that record they had in the Championship? There'll not be many teams that go in that Championship go 20-odd games undefeated. There'll be one or two over the last number of years, but there'll not be many. It's a hard league to win. That Saturday, Tuesday. So you basing it on that? You think that type? Is that what you're thinking? Aye.
If we give him time, I think he'll get it right. And we need to give him time. You need time. Frank said it himself at the weekend. 3 years it took him to get them up. They've stayed up, although he's left them now, obviously. But I don't want to change us. By the way, we've got to remember where we were in 2012. What they done to us. They tried to get rid of us all together. See when that happened, I actually didn't want to come back into Scottish football. I would have loved to. I would have been into the National League in England and worked our way up if we could have. And then see the rest of Scottish football. It would have been a junior league. That's my opinion. I would have been a junior league. Across the city, they had to put banners in the top tier right round their stadium to cover the seats.
Maybe they've covered a lot of things up over there.
They've covered a lot already. It's never mentioned right enough, but we'll not go there.
Listen, mate, I hope nothing. I know this is going to say. I just don't think it's a good fit, mate. I don't think it's a good fit for our club. The nature of the man, and how it's panning out at the moment. I can only see it ending one way. And it doesn't give me any pleasure in saying that. If you were getting results, there's always people don't like certain people, even if you're getting results. Throw in that we've had one performance all season. One performance. Yeah, it's no Brentford trying to build a team to go up for the lower leagues in England and maybe no spending the money. Apart from one team in the country, we're out spending everyone. In fact, this transfer window, I think we might have spent the most money, AK. And we're not getting value for buck.
You're right. We have spent the most money, I think, maybe even in the entire league. You're right. And Motherwell's had new managers. Obviously, Hearts had new managers. Kilmarnock's had new managers. We've seen improvements over them, but Aberdeen's fell off a cliff. But it's maybe the environment that they're walking into. It isn't, allowing the players to, thrive as they should be. Maybe it is the case because there's a lot of young guys in the team. There's a lot of the players don't know the history and the background of the club. They're not brought up on the club. What Barry Ferguson speaks about it. He says you need to show the character, but he's a boy that's been brought up on the club and knows the expectations. Russell Martin played for the club, so he should know that, and he should be getting that message through to them.
He only popped in for a few weeks, and that was a disaster in Raw, mate. Right. Listen, Jim, last word for your good self before we go for a tune.
Go to stick by him, lads. He'll turn it around. He will give him time.
I don't want to disagree with you, Jim, but at this moment in time, I don't see it, mate. I really don't. But fair play to you for having the cojones and the strength of your opinion, mate. I really admire you for that, brother.
Oh, thanks a lot, lads. I just hope it turns it. I hope he turns it.
And by the way, I don't care who the manager is. I just want our team to win, mate. That's all we all care about, eh?
But of course. But we've got to remember where we've came. We're trying to build up. You know, unbelievable what we've come through. There's no other club in the world would have done what the Rangers have done. None would have worked us well back to the top.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for the call, mate.
Thanks a lot, lads. Thanks a lot. Nice to speak
Cheers,
to
Jim.
you.
Good to hear you.
Right, bye. Bye.
Get yourself a mute, lads, because we're going to have a tune.
Now there's a pub in Green Street where all good proddies you will meet. So come down here and together we'll have a jar. A welcome there you will receive, so good that you won't want to leave. A fine wee pub is Saltcoats Mermaid Bar. You'll hear the sash, and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. We all support the Queen and Crown. The prices here are the best in town. And the bar staff, they are one terrific crew. Everyone laughing, full of cheer. It's one tremendous atmosphere, singing to support the red, white and blue. You'll hear the sash, and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. It's nice to come to the Mermaid Bar when Rangers are playing at Ibrox Park. You'll forget your worries and all your cares, singing songs against the Thames before you watch the Rangers win. For everyone here supports the Teddy Bears. You'll hear the sash, and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. If you are up from Belfast town, Tyrone, Fermanagh or County Down, Armagh, Antrim or London, Derry shores, the Mermaid is the place for you, so come and have a drink or two. Next time in Saltcoats you'll want to come back for more. You'll hear the sash, and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. You'll hear the sash, and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy, as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, that was a good wee song there, Fox. Cheers for that. You enjoy that, guys?
I'm doing a bridge man there. I'm doing a bridge man. A toe tapper. a toe tapper, Ricky. Yeah.
Sure, it sure was. Brilliant. Well done.
It's South Side with no a dashing white sergeant.
Hello.
I think we've been joined by Kyle. Evening, Kyle.
Good evening. How you guys doing?
How we doing, mate? What's on your mind, mate?
Oh, me. After that shambolic game on Saturday, I think he needs to go, in my personal opinion. But I think he's probably going to get more time. But I do strongly believe if we lose to Hibs on Saturday, I think he'll have to go. I don't think there'll be any option. And I'll be honest with you, it pains me to say it, but I think we'll get beat again because I can't see him getting more out of these players. I just don't see any leadership. There's no spine in the team. There's the players are not really playing for him, and and the fact that we've got zero creativity is very worrying as well. And the way we played in that first half was just awful. It was absolutely appalling. And what makes it worse is when Shankland scored that goal, and I don't think it should have been a goal in my personal opinion. I thought it was a handball. But aside from that, we didn't show any fight at all. And I just thought to myself, oh, this is going to get bad. I just knew at that moment that we were not going to fight back. And also, for me, that's onto the manager because I honestly believe, right, if we had somebody like Steven Gerrard or somebody that was better than Russell Martin, they would have got more out of those players, without a doubt. There's no way we'll be sitting 10th in that league table. And that's why I feel we should remove him from his duties as soon as possible. But he's obviously going to get another chance, and I don't agree with that at all. I think it was a huge mistake. I mean, that atmosphere on Saturday was brutal. You know what I mean? I mean, it was way worse when Beale was there, when Pedro was there, when Clement was there, and it's worrying. And I just don't understand what's going on at the club. And the thing that really concerns me as well is what the hell did Kevin Fairwell and Patrick Stewart see in this guy? It's beyond me.
Oh, that's a difficult question, right? Who's got their hand up this time? AK.
Oh, nice easy one there. Anyway, Kyle, welcome to the show, mate. Listen,
Thank
it's
you.
hard to disagree with a lot of your points there. As you said, I don't know if you were at the game, you would have certainly felt the poison in there, and it just looks as if you've got a team of young boys out there that are petrified.
Yeah.
They're petrified to own the ball. They're petrified to look out at their manager to see if they're doing well enough. And they kind of lose the game management there. Hearts sensed an opportunity there with their support.
Definitely.
You know, they've no won at Ibrox since 2014. That was the last time they won there. So they sensed an opportunity there, and their support got right behind them. That's all I heard. I could barely hear the Union bells the entire game. So Ibrox, Southside spoke earlier. Soon we went a goal down in past games. The first song that would go up would be the cry was no surrender, as if to say, come on boys, get right back into this game. There were nothing there. There were no response out of the crowd. I didn't partake in any of the chanting against Russell Martin. I didn't partake in the chanting for Nico Rathbone. That's not my style. I'm not about individuals. I'm the same as everybody on the fan. I want to see my team do well. I want to get behind my team. I'm no for individuals, but when it gets this toxic this early in his tenure, as Ox has said, I think it's coming back one way. Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. I know everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's fine, but I'm sorry, you're in cuckoo land if anyone thinks he can get back from this. It's not going to happen. It's completely unrealistic, you know. And I feel for him. I really do but he's not good enough for this football club. I'm sorry, he's not. He's nowhere near good enough. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, and I'm sure you did. But David Edgar from Heart and Hand, and the other podcast, Stevie, I think his name is, and the lads. Both of them. What they asked him was spot on, absolutely spot on, and you could tell he didn't like it, but he understood their frustration. To be fair, but I didn't like his response. I thought it was a bit arrogant of him, but he sort of understood it. But he was like, you could tell he was triggered by it. But I thought what both of them asked him was absolutely bang on, and it was totally justified. And I wasn't at the game. I was actually at my work in the garage when I was listening to it. when Shankland scored that goal, which was controversial, as we all know, I just thought, this is not going to be good. I just knew it because there was no response. And Miovski, I didn't think particularly had a good game, but it's not entirely his fault because he got no service whatsoever. There's no creativity in the team. What the hell is going on? We spent nearly 20 million quid. There's no creativity. There's no leadership. There's nobody helping anyone accountable in that team. It's ridiculous. It's shocking and it's embarrassing. I'm sorry, it's just awful. Why? Somebody needs to grab this club with a pair of balls and show some spine and show some pride. There's none of that right now, and that's what makes me angry and gets me frustrated.
I think some of listen, you're not alone. You're not alone. Southside, there's something you've been saying since the start of the season, the creativity, mate, innit?
Aye, it's no there. It's no gel, and the midfield's no right. When you say about leadership, you're right. You're 100% right. We never had. We don't have a leader in the middle of the park. No. You had Conor Barron, you had Diamande, and you've got Tel Wasgard, who's just in the door, who I think will be a decent player for us. I think he's got a good football brain, and I think he will get better. And I think with more game time and that, we will see him flourish a bit better. But that was the three that you're looking about your midfield, and there's nobody there but willing to go and receive the ball and take it. And Everton was getting passed across to Tav for Tav to go and do something. So your leaders there were Tav and Suter at the back with Butland. You look into midfield, we didn't have anybody in there that was a leader on the park. Diamande should take a bit more responsibility. He's been here long enough.
Absolutely.
And then you had Mikey Moore, and you've got Gassman, and you've got Miovski up front, who you could have had Messi up front, you could have had anybody up front, it wouldn't matter.
I agree.
There's no service to him.
And he's playing Gassama on the wrong side as well. And that's another thing that's driving me insane. He keeps playing players out of position. What is he doing?
There's a favour, Kel. Just let Southside talk. If the two is talk at once, it doesn't really work.
Sorry, my apologies.
No problem. No problem.
I agree, Kyle. I agree with you. Playing him on the right didn't work at all. He looked better when he went to the left. I think Ant-Man will probably be a decent player and all, but they're playing with no confidence. I mean, teams know now they can come to Ibrox, which we've got. Hibs coming now. They know if they can come and score an early goal, we're certainly going to unravel. The crowd will turn on it. There will be protests next week. I get that's the question. There'll be protests next week and all before the game even kicks off. So that's going to be another thing that the players are going to commit to. But I don't see in my heart of hearts how we can turn it round.
I don't see it either,
when he mentioned in his press conference that players were feeling like under pressure and all that because of the atmosphere inside Ibrox, then how's that going to change? Because they've no confidence and a lot of them are hiding and don't want the ball. So it's up to him to make sure that when he comes out on Saturday against Hibs, the players are going.
One of the problems you've got, mate. One of the problems you've got is he's under a microscope like never before. Obviously, Southampton played in the Premier League and a decent side club in England, but you know every sentence, everything you've got, everything's looked at your past. You know, people have dug out his previous press conferences where he said the exact same things when he's been with other clubs. You can kid some of the people some of the time, but you can't kid us all the time.
Aye, absolutely. Spot on.
I don't think it's going to end well, but
no, I don't either, mate.
Made a mistake.
Yeah, I'll tell you something as well, and this is going to sound a bit sad and a bit negative, but I hate to be negative because I want to be positive because I love this club and I've loved it since I was a kid. But you know that season in 2005 and 6 when Hibs beat us twice 3-0 at Ibrox. In the Scottish Cup in the league, I fear that's what's going to happen on Saturday. I'm sorry, because and the reason why I fear that is because I don't think I think he's lost the dressing room. Honestly, I do.
When you watch the team, but of course, about 12 of them will have the flu now because they've all been doing swimming at Lomond, you know. But, that's another story. We'll come to that in a minute. But but listen, mate, you're not.
Before I go, I just want to say this as well. And the reason why I get so frustrated because I've been supporting this club since the early mid-90s. And all the teams that I grew up with, we had leaders with characters, with spine. We had solid defence, solid midfield, great attacking players, a top goalkeeper. And I like Jack Butland, but I feel sorry for him because he doesn't have leaders in front of him. You know, like what Gorham and Kloss both had, and Al McGregor had. We don't have it. There was none of that in the team, and that's what I get really upset about. Because when Steven Gerrard was there, he bought us a spine. You know, like Goldson and Katic and Kamara, and Artfield and players like that. We don't have any of that in the team. None of that whatsoever. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some players that rate, but like I said, we need a proper gaffer in there to get the best out of them, in my opinion, and that's the problem.
Cheers, mate. Great call. Don't be a stranger, mate, and hopefully you come on at better times, yeah?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I'll definitely give you guys a go again soon. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on again. Thank you. Take care. Good night.
Anyway, we'll be joined by Josh. You don't want your sporting director in that back, do you, Josh?
You're all right, matey. Well, as all right as you can be with all this going on. From my club's point of view, I just think that the time for this excuse culture is over now. It's a ridiculous run of results for any team, let alone a team of the standing of Glasgow Rangers. Not only on the outcomes, but on the performance levels as well. The manager's definitely on a hard into nothing. In some ways, it's quite admirable that he's tried to stick to his principles, tried to playing out from the back style of football. But as a manager, you've got to adapt, and that's come at the cost of consistency in the results. He's trying to do the same things, getting the same poor results all the time. He isn't adapting it. He isn't responding to the fans either. The fans have certainly let Russell know that they're not happy with the current situation. Less than 5,000 tickets sold for Saturday's game. So all the signs are pointing to a managerial change, aren't they? There's no two ways about it. Just want to make the point that Hearts are showing real ambition, boys. Not only the words of the owner, Tony Bloom, and the actions, but also in the early season results. Could they really challenge to the top two, like we saw with the likes of Aberdeen last season? Didn't have the staying power, they fell away. But I think with Hearts, there's a real danger that if Rangers don't change it now, they could be fighting for the second place. Yet alone the title bid. So that's what's from my point of view. The red flags are already circling around not only the manager but the bigger picture of the situation as well.
Yes, we've got ourselves in some mess because if I'm being honest, the fixtures historically were pretty kind to us. We've had 3 games at Ibrox and you expect us maybe to take 7 out of 9 minimum, and then minimum 4 out of 6 away. Minimum 11 points, and some people have said we should have took maximum, and I get that. And then it's not just you put the performances as well as the results. I get Jim's point about VAR and Saturday, the frustrations, but I think that they'll only be paper on the tracks because the performances Southside haven't been great.
No, it's the performances that's frustrating everybody, and everybody's just had enough of it. It's a build-up. When Kyle was talking earlier, and AK mentioned, it's a build-up of frustration for our just another season. People are looking at where we are now, and we're 9 points off the top. There's nothing really apart in the play. We're not doing anything repetitive. I know we're swapping the team about and that, and he's having to do things, but patience in a 2-team league isn't good enough. And it just seems to be the same all the time. So that's how people in the Stones' patience are wearing thin as well. But it's just not good enough, and it's only going to end one way. It's just a matter of time, because you would have to go on a 20-odd game unbeaten run, and you look at that squad and the way we've started, and the players they know, and the way we pass the ball slow. We're no running harder, we're no running quicker than any other team that he told us we would do, and we're no linking play in any way, shape or form. And I don't think the midfield three's right. Until he gets that right, nothing's going to change. And if Hibs will come, and they'll come and want to put us out the cup, and they'll think, aye, we'll score against Rangers, or they'll give us a chance, they'll come and press us and we'll make a mistake. And when you go there on Saturday, when you're like you're saying, it's hard to think how it's going to change for what I just watched on Saturday at Ibrox. That's the thing. You think you're just going to watch this movie again, for the same as last week to this week coming. That's a sad indictment, because I've never been to Ibrox feeling like we can't beat a team. no matter where we were. Still thought you could always win at Ibrox, but I'm actually feeling as if Saturday I'm thinking, but if nothing changes, we're not going to win. Simple as that. So that's where we are with him, and it'll end one way. He's going to go, and it'll be down to the board to decide when he goes. I think he'll still be there up until the Livingston game, possibly, or I think he'll get the European game after the Hibs game, and then we go to Livingston, and we'll have 3/4 of that stadium. So whether they pull the plug before we go to Livingston with him, if we don't get the right results, it'll be up to them. If they hang it out any longer than that, then it's just then we'll start looking for their heads to go with him, because everybody knows that we need to stop it now. We need to stop the bleed. And at the moment we're still bleeding, so it's up to them how long they want us to bleed for. And then it'll be time for them to probably follow them out the door, certain ones. That'll be the cry for the support. Whether it's Thelwell or whether it's Patrick Stewart or the two of them. Somebody else will need to deal, somebody will need to carry the can along with them, along with Russell Martin.
Anyway, we'll also be joined by Matt. Evening, Matt. Oh, we lost Matt. I disappeared.
Somebody been, no, he just went away.
Stage fright.
And maybe he was scared. He might have seen your picture, Ricky.
He might have got a game for Rangers. They were petrified, I know.
Listen, great points you make here, Southside. Josh, you might come back in, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Just to, perhaps echo some of that. I just think the longer Rangers leave this now, the further they get behind Celtic and the further they get behind Hearts as well. So then it becomes not only a battle for, perhaps competing at the top end for the title, it also becomes a battle for the top two, which is sort of foreign territory, where it's massive foreign territory for a club of the size and stature of Glasgow Rangers. It's, it's kind of set in stone, isn't it, in a lot of quarters at the start of the season, that Celtic and Rangers will be the top two in whatever order that transpires. But I think with Hearts coming in with the new ownership and the ambition, Rangers have got to, they have to be careful. And I think, the perfect time to make the change would be before this weekend's game, before the cup game, because then you're giving yourself a fighting chance of staying in that tournament as well with the fresh impetus. You'd sell more than 5,000 tickets as well. Like, the fans would get back on board straight away when you ultimately announce who the caretaker or the new manager is. So, from my point of view,
where are you getting the 5,000, mate? We've got 33,000 continuous credit.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, the longer this goes on, the more the fans are deferring away from buying more tickets, though, aren't they? Because, they buy the season books, buy the strips. They keep going back to the well, and it's been 13 years since they won the league. Well, they've won the league during COVID, but do you know what I mean? Celtic have won 13 out of 14 titles. So the longer that goes on as well, the more fans start thinking, well, I'm kind of putting money in a bottomless pit of nothing really, because they aren't delivering on the pitch. They're not delivering in the boardroom. They're not delivering for the fans who turn up week in, week out. Are they? So that's where Russell's situation becomes untenable.
You've had the American owners at your club, mate. What makes them penny drop for them? Is it economics or is it ego?
I just think with the Everton situation, they identified that David had to come back in, David Moyes, and he's reunited the fan base. They've shown the ambition with getting Grealish in the transfer window. There's things like that. They've gone into the new stadium, the new era for the club. They may be seeing that as a money-making opportunity for them as well, to two-edged sword. They're giving the fans what they want, though, because David's come back in and instantly the results are improving, the morale's improving, people are going to games with the expectation of getting results, whereas before it was kind of, if we get something today, it's going to be a bonus, and we're not really going to be like, watching the best standard of football, whatever it may be. And I think it's kind of similar with Rangers at the moment. They're coming with the ideas and the ambition of getting this progressive manager in Russell Martin, but for this level of football, I mean, and the level of players he's got trying to play out from the back. I've had this conversation with you before. I don't think he necessarily possesses that personnel to be able to do this week in, week out, which is where your adaptability comes in. Maybe looking at someone that understands the club inside and out. I've heard Steven Gerrard mentioned I've mentioned Barry Ferguson myself, so there's two names straight away that are available and would probably be open to having discussions around the job. Not that.
By the way,
you know,
never
not
mind
that,
the manager. I'd played the two of them.
Can I ask Josh something? Josh,
I only go
see
make
when
match back with
Thelwell was there with Purdy, right? I take it they were doing all the signings and they set out the style of football that they were wanting to play, or was it when Sean Dyche was there? It was just that negative sort of football. He had lump with a lot of funds.
It was short horses with horses when Dyche was there, because you know the proverbial hit the pan, didn't it? Because they'd had years of overspending and they had the ambition to start with and wasted a lot of the finance. So Sean came in to try and steady the ship. But yeah, you're totally right. When Thelwell was there, he was identifying the players ultimately, and he was probably the one that was buying the players and then asking the manager to fit them into a system. I think with Russell being there, he might have more of a say on who he actually wants and what profile of player he wants. But again, I'm going back to Hearts with their model of like stats based players coming in. Do you know what I mean? Like Brighton have done that very successfully under Tony Bloom. He's trying to put it into the Scottish game as well. And I mean, we're talking about a small sample size of about 5 or 6 games here.
The spine of that Hearts team, it caused us problems. As guys that's been there for years, Halkett, Shankland, and the guy in the midfield. They were the guys that made them tick at the weekend. You know, it was obviously the boy up front who worked hard. He'd run his race after about 60 minutes. The Portuguese boy that brought in up front, he ran about a lot in the first half, caused a lot of problems. I'll come back to you, Josh. We've been joined by Matt. Evening, Matt.
Evening.
How you doing, mate? What's on your mind?
I know, but I've got a few things on my mind. But the first thing I would like...
Are you lying down?
No. Listen, this is going to sound terrible, right? Now, I won't pick out anybody, but you've had a caller tonight and a few times that is completely delusional, in my opinion. Thinking that this guy's going to turn things around, but that's that guy's opinion. He's totally allowed that, and other Rangers fans are allowed that. I don't think he is. I was over the moon when they get back because I want rid of him. That's how bad I want rid of him. I want Rangers to keep losing so they get rid of him.
I can't buy into that one, mate. I can't buy.
No, I know. Listen, I was there. You had a caller that spoke about 2005, right? I was a season ticket holder for 18 years, and I gave it up due to financial difficulties later on in life. But I remember the 2 Hibs games, and I believe it was who was it that was in charge again? Would you call him? No, it wasn't Alex McLeish.
2005 it was, mate. Aye.
Well, then that's the 2 Hibs. That wasn't the 2 Hibs games then. It was 2 other Hibs games they get bet 3-0 and 3-0 at Ibrox. And I remember Govan front, people throwing their season tickets onto the pitch. They were that pissed off.
Glenn never made the Scottish Cup, mate. And Hibs put it.
Well, there was. I'll look it up. I've got it. I've still got the programmes, and I know for a fact they were bet twice by Hibs at Ibrox, one during the day and one at night time. It was a night game and a week game and a weekend game in the same week. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Anyhow, that's just my opinion. I hope they get bet again. I hope they get bet on half Hibs, which I think they will get bet half Hibs because they're not a good team.
You're entitled to your opinion, but I cannot buy into that. I can't.
Right.
That's like saying one of your kids getting hurt.
Well, I don't have kids, so I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But I don't have kids. But my problem, right, is the statistics. Now I don't know if this statistic is right. His win ratio is 22% in 100 games. Right, I don't know if that's right.
I'm not before away, mate. I mean, look, if you look at his last 20 league games, he's won 1. That's a fact.
And they've only had Rangers. Sorry, I interrupted you there. On you go.
No, that's a fact. If you look, I think it's his last 50 games. He's won 15, and one of them's Alloa. We know all this.
Okay.
And we accept. I think a lot is accept. He's not a good fit. Yeah.
Right, so here's my main thing for everybody, right? This is the one question I wanted to ask, right? Take all the hate that people have for him or the dislike for him. Which one, can you come up with one positive thing to keep him as a Rangers manager?
AK.
GTF, you.
He's got nice hair. He's got nice hair. Is that what?
Give me the easy one. Matt, I cannot agree with you at all on hoping that we get beat and hoping. I'll tell you the reason why, because I witnessed it on Saturday and I could not believe the season ticket holders round about me urging Hearts to score. I was disgusted at that. It's the first time I've ever witnessed that Rangers season ticket holders are want us to get beat just so we can remove our manager. No, can't go that at all. A positive about him, he's here.
Right, okay, I've heard that many times.
But listen, I don't know. He needs to play. He needs to prove he's adaptable to change his team and his formation to make it more comfortable for the players that he's brought in to the environment. He needs wins. That's the only way you get time to do the job. But you need a stature for our club. I mean, Josh speaks about David Moyes at Everton. David Moyes has got the stature to go into Everton and sort them out. What Walter used to do with us, we went to him a couple of times. He's done it with Scotland as well when we were in anarchy there. Managers need a stature to own a club, own a team, change it into his philosophy, but he needs to win. And then we need to see that he's willing to change to get us to win. And the players need to be running through a brick wall for him. And our players are hiding because there's a lot of different factors. We don't know what's went on behind the scenes with Nico Raskin, for example. I'm pretty sure that split the dressing room. But there's a lot of new players in our club now that know absolutely nothing about the history of the club or the history between certain individuals. And it's not a good look. And the results this season has been atrocious, indefensible.
Southside.
Can't come up with one good start apart from we know how to like goals. It's poor, Matt. No, I came out of Ibrox on Saturday and I was just like, man, this is torture. You know, I thought it's my heart and my head tells me we can't keep sacking managers, right? But this time I think it's not even in my head. It's just a matter of when now, because I've not seen any improvement in anything. I know there's Asgard. I think will be a good player in time. I think in that, but the now they're playing with no confidence. We're not playing in any. We're not doing anything repetitive. Apart from you heard the groans on Saturday. The minute we go so far with the ball, certain midfielders weren't showing for the ball. Weren't looking like they were trying to make angles to get the ball. So shooters running into trouble. We can't pass the ball, and it looks bad. And there's other moments where players aren't making angles, and we're just not looking like a team. And playing Gasman on the right when we all know he's better on the left, to play Mikey Moore, who never had a good game, and why he started him I don't know, but it was the manager's choice. It never worked out. He came inside a lot and just ran into trouble. He is a young boy, but Finlay Curtis knows the way to go, and I think if you're going to maybe give somebody a shot in time, if you're taking one, if he's going to go with Gasman and Ant-Man say on Saturday, then I think if I was bringing on a sub and I was changing one of my wingers, I would bring on Finlay Curtis. Because at least he's young, he's not got any fear. He is quite a good, decent player. Just needs a bit of game time. But he's coming into a struggling team, and he's a young boy, and you're asking him to do that. When usually bring a young boy in when your team's playing well and you're playing with a bit of fluidity and you're maybe winning games, and they can come in and enjoy it. So no, everybody's back to square one again on Saturday. Hibs come early and score. This crowd will just turn. There'll be banners up before the game even kicks off, I believe. So it'll be on Saturday, but he needs to get a win. I don't buy in, mate. I don't even get any team a goal against us, to be honest. No, I can't get down that road. I understand people's views on it. I respect your opinion on it, but it's not for me. I want Rangers to win it every game, every time we play. But it's certainly been a hard watch, and I can't give you any good anything to say. I can back him up and say that we shouldn't sack him. I mean, I can't, and that's my honest opinion on it.
Aye, listen, I've said one tongue in cheek, a positive for you, Matt. Yeah.
Okay.
If we carry on like this, we'll know European football to worry about. It's conjecture next season, mate. With the congestion in the fixtures, But listen, mate, that's what it's got. Is people are getting silly now. Listen, Jim's entitled to his opinion about him saying he's happy for him to stay and give him a chance. You're entitled to your opinion. I don't agree with Bathy's for different reasons, mate. I can't put the game on. I'll be Ibrox on Saturday and expect Rangers. No want Rangers to win, mate. It's beyond me, mate. It's beyond me. I just maybe I'm a dinosaur. I don't know.
No, I had the feelings as well. I find that absurd. I really do. I don't get a Rangers supporter that goes to the game and wants us to get beat. And that's exactly what happened there on Saturday. And there's people sitting at house hoping the exact same. You don't need to like the manager to support the team. And at the moment, the supporters aren't getting behind the team. And it's hurting us. It's hurting us more than probably our opposition, because they're on tenterhooks, all these boys. I've no help myself. I don't know where we go. But the only thing that can change, as I say, is if we do get a different manager in there, he might get a bounce out of the players. But then we're going round about in this financial cycle where we've spent 30 million round about that, and then it's a turnover of players. And when does it stop? Somebody has to, bite the bullet and say, right, Gerrard, we gave 3 years, but I don't think it'll be about Russell Martin. We need somebody with stature, somebody that can pull the club together, and that's what Gerrard got that because he's Liverpool upbringing. My choice before Russell Martin was appointed was Frank Lampard. Josh, I think he was an Everton manager. I don't know how he got on there, but I think he had that winning mentality, and he's done a fantastic job at Coventry. But I don't know. We're all lost for words, to be honest with you.
That's a good point you make, AK. Taking on the date. And the question will be to Matt then. Who
to replace him?
Aye.
Well, I don't. Right. I personally don't want Stevie G, and I don't know why everybody wants Stevie G. Right. Okay, he stopped 10 in a row, right? But for me, he did have a backbone. But he walked away because he offered money.
No, but who? You're not answering the question. Who?
Right. So who? I would. Well, Graham Souness wanted Frank Lampard, and I thought that would be a good appointment, right? But also, I would like him to have maybe a Stephen Davis as an assistant, or Barry Fergus, round about like that sort of thing. I'm not saying have Barry Ferguson, but an ex-player for that club be his assistant manager.
You mean
because I can tell you what? Sorry, when you
go.
Aye. I wouldn't. A lot of people said Alex Ray was a Rangers legend. I don't think he was, personally. I think Stephen Davis was a legend. He should have been the assistant manager, in my opinion.
Excuse me, soft Stephen Davis.
Right. Okay. Sorry. But that sort of team. But I think Frank Lampard would be a good appointment. I would agree with that. I don't know anybody else. I've not seen who's lost for jobs or what.
I don't know if you get him for where we are.
Right.
Where we are at this moment in time in Scottish football is financially. Coventry are on the up in that championship. There's a lot of money swirling about there. But listen, you've told us who you shouldn't want and who you fancy. That's fair. That is
and see with the whole. Can I just answer this question, if that's okay, quickly, or answer the point that the gentleman said about what it's no that I don't know how to word this the right way. That guy has forced me to dislike my team. The way they're playing, their motivation, I don't want to switch the telly on to watch them to win. But when I used to go to the games, I was looking forward to, oh yes, this is going to be great, a great game. You win 1-0, brilliant, good, we're top of the league. It's I don't know the words I want to use to say. It's not that I'm hoping they lose every game, right? He's made me feel that way. God, hurry up! If they lose a game, he's going to get the sack. I don't think he'll get the sack. I think he'll be here I think he'll be here at the end of the season.
Well, this is going to be a busy show, Southside, all year.
We've not got any leaders, right? There's no leaders in the team. If they are, it'll be Tav, Butland, Tav and Suter when they play. Nobody else. Raskin, I think if he was back in the team playing, right, but that's a separate issue at the moment. But apart from that, Diamondi'd expect to stand up and be counted, and he didn't. Connor Barron's a young boy, he's coming in, he's limited in what he can do and ability, as we've seen. Asgar's a new player in, and you look at the front line, they're all new. So we've no goal leaders. He brought in Rothwell probably to put a bit of experience in there and maybe try and lead for the midfield, which hasn't happened. And obviously he's brought in Cornelius probably at the back now, who'll maybe show a bit of leadership qualities and stuff. Giga doesn't look too comfortable on the ball in certain situations, I think, at the moment. And the team's unsettled. They're playing with low confidence, and the manager's probably caused a bit yet because we've played players out of position and he's juggled it about a bit, and we're not seeing anything repetitive for that. So we're struggling badly, mate, and it's just the way it is. It's shocking to see, but it's only going to lead one way. I think we all know what the answer's going to be in time. Unless he can turn it around, there's no chance. The support are unforgiving with him at the moment. And it'll be shown it'll be shown on Saturday live on telly, the displeasure for the support. So it's only going to lead one way unless he can go on a run of winning games. And if we all honestly say it now, can any see that actually happening? No. So it's only inevitable when it's done.
Would be a start. A goal at Ibrox would be a start for open play, mate.
Aye, I know. Listen, if that goal had maybe counted, it might have swung the game slightly for us. You don't know. But we're no scoring. We're no creating very much, mate, and it's not good enough. But the midfield, I think, is the problem. He's going to need to find a midfield formula that's going to work, because that's the heartbeat of your team.
If I'm honest, mate, I don't think any of the defence is working brilliantly. They're too far apart. And the Giga who came in and looked okay pre-season, and then as the games have started, he looks like a raw young boy playing in defence for us. And if he can out the B team, mate, people saying get him back down to the B team. You know, he's got pace, but he's just every game there seems to be an error in him. Yeah, and, you know, people getting their fitness and learning their trade in the Rangers first team. Here's another one I want to have a word with you about, Josh. The centre forward you sent us up the road, 6'4". First impressions, let's just say the jury's out.
Yeah, well, I saw him play one full 90 minutes for Everton against Brentford, and I actually picked him out as man of the match in that very small sample size, but he seemed to disappear since then. He hasn't had many minutes. Yes, he was a farewell sign, and he's obviously identified that going over to Rangers. You know, perhaps he is going to be that starting number 9 probably now for Rangers, get more minutes under his belt, probably show the Rangers faithful, you know, his output, you know, in terms of his hold-up play, his goal-scoring capabilities. But yeah, it's a massive risk for the money they've paid, isn't it? Just the initial point you made before, though, from a club point of view, it's changed and changed and changed with the managerial situation. So what's necessarily going to alter this time, if, in the words of Chubby Chicken, if they twist again like they did last summer? Because, you know, the scoreless draw with Celtic came before the international break, and I thought, well, you know, at least they got something from that game. It wasn't the best game to watch, and that's being kind to it. But, you know, they had the international break to regroup and to look at things again. They were 6 points behind, and I thought, you know, that's given me a little glimmer of hope at Russell and the team. But is it frustrating, boys, that a supposedly poor and vulnerable Celtic side are 9 points clear despite a poor transfer window, discontent in their fan base, the board's under pressure, they're out the European Cup, and a manager in Brendan Rodgers who will probably be off at the end of the season? So, you know, all those things considered, you know, the fact they had the international break, this Hearts game was make or break for me. The way Hearts have started the season, you know, if Rangers would have gone in and got 3 points there, the situation looks a little bit different. But the fact that they're now 10th in the table, and by the next time they play, they could be bottom of the table, that's just, it's just like unheard of. Like if I'd like woke up, like, you know, fell asleep at the end of last season and woke up now and someone said Rangers are in 10th, I'd have gone, you what? Like, are you missing? This is Glasgow Rangers Football Club, and I hope that the centre forward Shimiti comes good for you, because it's like you say, I saw him play 190 minutes for Everton, and in that 90 minutes that there was some glimmer that there was a player in there, some untapped potential. So that's basically all I can give you on that one.
I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right. But he looked raw at the weekend there. You know, obviously, I mean, we're not having a go at him. We're just only saying about the first. He come on in a bad performance in a team that's not playing well. It's hard to judge, but we'll see what it takes. He's a big unit, I'll tell you that. Yes, mate.
But I was going to say, see, after Michael Beale took over for Gio, right? Went on an unbeaten run, but we didn't win anything, right? See the glaring area, the death knell in his kind of tenure. Arfield, Morelos, both lost them in free transfers at the end of the season. He sold Cholak and Sakala. That was 47 league goals. We replaced them with Dessers, Danilo and Lammers. Now, big Dessers has obviously went away there, 50-odd goals in a couple of years. Cherny and Iggerman, that was 63 goals that we got to replace this year for last year. Who's going to score the goals for us in it? That's a massive problem.
At the moment, nobody, mate, because we don't get a ball apart enough. You know, but there's a lot wrong. There's a lot wrong. And listen, all of the pitch, mate, there's a lot wrong. And I think it was yourself, you know, go back to South Side where I said, I don't know what his take on it. And Matt can chip in. When you look at it, there is times, look, we can talk about the nervousness and the inexperience of the squad. You know, and there is like Mikey Moore, the Jiga playing there. You know, they're even the Gasman's. You know, he's no young, but Mikey Moore, for what you're asking me today, and Jiga for in his position, they're all inexperienced. So say throwing the left back. It's men we want. It's no boys to get us where we want to be. Yeah, and then we get a sprinkle into a winning team. No, try and make them because you can break them, mate.
Aye, every league game, like you said, have been booed off and everything else, and booed off at half time in all the league games. So they're having to deal with all that. They've not got the experience. They've come up here, and the demand that's put on you, it's nothing like they've ever had to face in their life, probably. And that's just the nature of the club. And we're not starting well, and we're not playing with any confidence. So we've got a lot of young sort of spine, as we say, by players. Jiga, he looked fast and all that. First game, he looked comfortable. Since he made that mistake by Butland, he's looked pretty shaky, and he just feels as if he wants to get rid of the body. Suter's playing on the left, and he should be on the right if he's going to play at all. If you want the best out of him, probably broke Cornelius in to give that bit of experience in the back. But no, with Rothwell's out injured, he had experience. Raskin should hopefully come back in. If they can sort that out and he's going to be part of the team going forward and things are resolved, then that might help. But to be honest, I think even Nico Raskin out there on Saturday, Oxford, never changed the game at all.
Well, Nico's not played brilliant this year, you know. He was excellent last season, you know. But Matt, and you come, mate?
I would just think Southside said I would agree with that. I don't actually know what else to say. I think that would be it. Other than the only thing I would say is, do any of you think the squad, like the Nico Raskin thing that's happened, right, or whatever's happened, do you think the squad don't want to play for him anymore?
The manager? It looks as if he's the dressing room. You look at it. It looks that way, mate. But, you know, but you hear sound bites and all the right things, and it looks that way. Either that or their confidence is totally shot, you know, and because of results and this process you've got to go through. I mean, what is it? 13 games we've played. What is it? 6 in Europe, 5 league games, League Cup tie. That was the 12th game, and we're not any better than we were the first game against Bruges. We were a decent side in the friendly. Aye, we don't see. My good friend Southside, he was looking for patterns of play, and He's thinking, you can see a partner play what we're trying to do this season. You're a better man than me, AK.
Aye. I seen a kind of heat map thing about where people's positions were in the, the team on Saturday. You could have put a dustbin lid or everybody. They were on the centre circle. The wings were totally exposed. Everybody was on top of each other. So it's congested in the middle of the park. You're not going to win games when you're no spread out. You're meant to use the width of the park, and we're low. And that's apparent. So we're easy to play against. We're easy to, in the transition, to get over the top of it, because there's always got to be loads of space, and we're killing ourselves, but we're not scoring enough goals. I mean, Hearts have scored 12 goals so far in the league. Celtic and Hibs have scored 8. We've only scored 3. That's pathetic. Aberdeen scored 0, by the way. They get their first point of the weekend.
I don't take any comfort out of the fact that they've done that, mate, when we've scored 3. One's is a James Tavernier header, a penalty kick, mate, and obviously young Finlay Curtis' shot at St Mirren. The fact that we can remember all the goals just shows you where we are, you know. But it's definitely going to be interesting, and people are getting frustrated, angry, upset, all the adjectives, you know, and I don't know what the Americans are going to do Southside. In normal circumstances, you would say he's a dead man walking, but you just don't know, do you?
No, they'll maybe want to give him the time, and like you say, they're no supporters of the club, but they've certainly put their money in, and they will want to get a winning team right. Their credibility is on the line, and they will. But when it comes to us, you need to just come out and say, look, we're sorry, we made a mistake, right? But you can turn around and say, aye, well, we knew this, whether you said this week, last week, 2 weeks ago, or whenever you thought it, or whenever he was appointed. But at the end of the day, it's how long are you going to let it go on? If this doesn't improve between Hibs, the European game, and Livingston, then I think the trigger will get pulled. It's got to. I think the pressure will mount too much, and it'll have to be done, Ox.
What did you make of the day's news with the training session? What did you make of that, mate?
Actually, to be honest, aye, it doesn't bother me, to be honest. You know, it doesn't. If that's what they wanted today, probably break up with me not.
Do you think that some people should do that in small business, that kind of thing? Would you suggest that?
No, I wouldn't suggest it's for everybody, no. But listen, if they walked up a hill and done what they done, I don't really care, to be honest. It doesn't bother me. I think if they had their night out on Saturday that they cancelled, I think if I'd found out they went out on a night out and had a piss up, I think I'd be more peed off at that. But at the end of the day, he took them away and done what he done. It doesn't bother me, Ox, to be honest.
AK.
I was just sitting there, take them to Bishopton. I don't know. Walter would have had them in the Loudon. Walter would have had them in the Loudon, and he's taking them to Loch Lomond. Oh, I don't know. As you said earlier, I think, see if they go down with the flu. Dear, oh dear. Talk about hanging yourself. Dear, oh dear.
Oh, I don't know, mate. I just think it was something that the support didn't want to hear today, because I think it's one of these situations we'll go myself in it, Josh, that he can't do right for doing wrong. Even if it's a good idea, it's wrong, because so quickly, it's turned so toxic.
Yeah, well, you know, the proof's always in the outcomes and the results, isn't it? You can talk all you want about, we're doing this in training, we're trying to implement this. You know, we've got a long-term plan. He always uses that as well, doesn't he? It's all about the short-term at clubs like Rangers and the other lot, isn't it? Because, you know, the focus is all on those 3 points or getting through in that cup competition or, you know, putting that marker down. I want to make a point about that Finlay Curtis. Someone mentioned him before. That's a product of the youth development. We're not seeing enough of that either. I saw it in the women's game with May Croft. 16-year-old comes on and scores, you know. So there's examples of it in the women's game, but I think within the parameters of the men's game and the pressure that's on it and the finance that's involved in it, it's far easier to go and spend £5-6 million on a so-called proven product rather than trying to develop your own. And I think that Finlay Curtis has shown me in the brief things that I've seen from him. He embodies the future of this football club. You know, the managers are swapping and changing left, right and centre. They all have their own ideas of the individual players they want to bring in and the style of football. If you can get that core nucleus of young players, they don't change, so they can adapt to the new management coming in. They can sort of show that pathway for the younger generation, and that's just kind of the final point I wanted to make. Like, from watching that women's game and how, like, you know, they brought through the young players with Leanne coming in. That's been a remit from the start, to give the young players an opportunity to build that nucleus of you know, up and coming Rangers talent, rather than trying to buy someone else's and trying to buy the finished article. Because we've seen on numerous occasions at this football club over the last 13 or so years, it doesn't always guarantee you the finished player, does it, boys? By the same token.
No. Listen, we've reached that time in the evening. Last word for your good self, Matt.
I don't really know what to say. I would like to turn the game on Saturday and they're up 3-0, but I don't think it's going to happen.
You might be right, mate. I mean, obviously, usually in normal circumstances, a quarter-final, a cup tie at Ibrox, you just be happy with a victory and you move on. But in these circumstances, every small thing's got to be exaggerated. Listen,
Do you think it'll be a sellout?
No, I don't, mate. No, I don't.
No,
I don't think
that's one thing I wanted to ask. Sorry.
I don't think it would have been a sellout in normal circumstances, mate. There's no interest in cup football there once was. But listen, thanks for the call, Matt. Different
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, mate. Cheers, mate. Josh, last word for your good self.
For me, they need to make the change now, because we've spoken all night long about the frustrations that are building, the lack of tickets that have been sold. Fans have had enough. We've all had enough of it. So they need to change it now, get that momentum for the cup match on Saturday, the knockout football, sell more than 5,000 tickets, get that belief back in the support base that, you know, that the owners are actually listening to the fan base, because I don't feel like the fans' concerns are really being listened to. The owners are sat there smug thinking, oh, it'll all come good in the end. But they clearly don't understand Scottish football and the mechanics of how it works. You're 9 points behind Celtic, you're out the Champions League. I mean, yes, you know, you played against Club Brugge, albeit, but you're out of the Premier European competition. You could be out of the League Cup if you leave this guy in till Saturday. And yeah, they might sneak the result on Saturday with Russell. But what I'm saying is, to get the fans back on side and to make Ibrox look full for those television cameras and the wider press, and to not make Rangers that laughing stock, it has to be sat now for me. That's just my view. And I hate saying it, because you know what I'm like, I'm quite fair, but he has to go, mate. He's got to go now, for me.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. Can you take the two favourite with him?
What? Felwell and the other fella? Yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, of course. They can be shipped out as well from past experiences of supporting Everton with their vast waste of money and the other things they tried to do on the short term, you know, get rich quick scheme kind of thing, of like trying to get results straight away rather than having an actual business plan, which is what I think's lacking at your football club. So yeah, they've all got to go. Clear them out and start again for me. Rectify this mistake. Thank you, mate.
All right, cheers. Always good to hear from you, Josh. AK, did somebody mention all night long? On AK.
I'm still laughing at Josh's reference to Chubby Checker as well, but I appreciate the call. That's been an interesting show, pal.
You made me talk to me and you, mate. You made me talk to me and you.
The big Stevie, even. Listen, we're hurting. We're all hurting. We like to think we speak kind of truthfully, though, give a proper evaluation of what's happening. We try to get behind them. We can change our mind on it. Obviously, we can't. That's your prerogative to do that. And you've been on it for a wee while now, Ox. I don't think it's going to end well. Once the crowd decide, that's generally it. But thanks for having us on the show again, and just still support the team regardless.
you know what I've based that on, AK? I've not based it on the personality of Russell Martin. At the moment in time, I've not seen anything that suggests to me he's a good football manager.
Aye, but I think the position as Rangers manager or Rangers head coach has now become a poison chalice with the amount of managers who went through.
I'm available if I could come out of retirement if they ask me nicely. But anyway, thanks, AK. Right, listen, it was good to hear for you, good points. Southside.
Aye, the only thing I can say positive about Russell Martin is he went 20 odd games in the Championship, which I think is a hard thing to do, and took Southampton up eventually after a terrible start of about, I don't know, 2 months or something. They were really poor. There's not many teams have done it, but he's certainly not done anything for us at the moment. Like you say, it's hard to pin.
Go and have a look at that run, mate. I actually took the time while you were talking to look at that run. There's some decent results in it, but there's quite a few draws, you know.
I know, but it's still 20 odd games undefeated in a Championship. It's hard to go up and down, and there's no many teams and managers do it. Probably Company and maybe Scott Parker probably done it, something like that, when they were sort of on a run, maybe close to it. But there's no many teams that will do it in the Championship, and that's the only thing that I ever knew about him, that he done that. He's not done anything at our club at the moment. He's not progressed as in any way, shape or form, sadly. And at the moment, it's only, in my eyes now, it's only a matter of time. But I'll go to Ibrox on Saturday against Hibs, and I'll go and hope that the Glasgow Rangers can get a victory. Something's got to change for us at some point. There'll be different players, hopefully, in the squad, so that's the only thing I can think of going on Saturday, that there'll be some different players and hopefully something will click, but we'll see in time. But thanks for having us on, enjoyed it. Plenty of callers tonight, which was good for the show and good to hear all their opinions, mate. And I'd like to thank everybody out there on the YouTube for listening to the show tonight. There were quite a lot of them in the other night listening, so thank them on YouTube for joining us.
Yes, listen, look, thanks to everybody. Look, we're all got opinions. People can see the game differently. People see things differently, but we're all, I think, ultimately we all want the same thing. We might not want the same ends at this time, but listen, thanks to Callum, Josh, Jim, Kyle and Matt for joining us. Good to hear from them. Of course, AK and Southside for doing the show. Fox and All School Blue for doing the technicals in the background. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10. Talking about all sound Rangers, and I'm sure the same subjects are going to run and run and run. Thanks for listening. Take it away, All School Blue.